Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Was half Kryptonian and half Saiyan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Had all cram his power before the Chunin exams, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. And also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the other channels. I indeed have 3 of them: Anime King, Anime King 2, and Making 3, which I post what if on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. Link will be down in the description, so yeah guys, go ahead and enjoy those. So without further ado, what do you say we jump into this new episode starts? The intro. So the last time we left off, the entire elemental nation was being affected by a strange meteor shower. As meteors after meteors start to fall all over the hidden rain, the rock, Kiri, Kumo. But the most important place right now was Konoha, because there was a massive, giant fox threatening to blow the village away. Tsunade Senju of Konoha was here because of Kushina, as she had begged her to be here for the pregnancy, as she had named her daughter Tsunade's goddaughter. She'll be her godmother, yes, as she begged her to be here. Tsunade was planning on leaving the village very soon, but she thought that she could at least do this before she left. Along with Shizune, they were coming back to the village when Tsunade had to stop a meteor from crushing them. Upon doing so, she saw another one, but it wasn't a meteor as she dodged it. It crashed in the earth. Looking inside, there was a small child. She didn't know what it was, but something just clicked. Making her way back, one of the giant meteors had slammed down on the massive fox, allowing Minato time to steal some of the Kyuubi chakra, the residue, inside of Kushina so she wouldn't die. But he had to risk his life though, as he gave his life to seal half into his little girl Mito. And the rest of it, he took it to his grave, stuck with the Shinigami that took his soul. Tsunade came back as she came upon the scene, as Hiruzen finally arrived after protecting the village from the meteor shower. As he was confused who was the baby that Tsunade was holding, she informed him that it was her son. Now that sent him for a loop. Some time passed as Kushina woke up. As Tsunade calmed her down and she remembered Minato though, she lost him, but he gave his life to protect this village and their daughter, as she would raise her to be a perfectly wonderful girl and protect her with her life no matter what. That is when she met Tsunade's son Naruto. Tsunade named him after the book that Jiraiya wrote, The Gutsy Ninja. That was the only book that she could respect the pervert for. The rest of them were just smut. So she named him Naruto Senju. Some time passed as Ibiki and Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Kushina were all there in front of the pod that Naruto arrived in. As Naruto touched it with his small arms, upon doing that a hologram appeared of a woman. She called herself Laura. She then went on to explain that Naruto was half Kryptonian and half Saiyan. She never went into the details about his Saiyan heritage, but she released a crystal from the said ship and said that once he was at age, she wanted to speak to him. As Tsunade did not see any problem like that, she thought at first the woman was real, but not to find that she was a hologram, as she felt a bit, jealous, because she saw the boy as her son already. She didn't know what it was, but something just clicked the moment she saw him. But Laura seemed to love the boy as well, but she was a hologram, not the real woman. As she smiled at him, he was just so precious. Years passed, as the kids were playing hide and seek. But despite every time they tried to hide, Naruto always found them no matter what, and he would not tell Mito how he found them. Mito saw Naruto as her older brother despite them not being well related. Well, the children did not know several things. People in the village knew that Mito was a container of the Kyuubi, but they also knew that she was the daughter of Minato. And that kept her out of the, well, wrath of some of them. But some of them still did not like what she contained, and they went out of their way to just ignore her. As Naruto and Mito and the others finally entered the academy, upon arriving there, some time passed as they were given a test to test their skills. Sasuke was from the Uchiha clan, a prominent powerful clan, so he thought that he was better than Naruto. But Naruto was able to drop him with just one hit. As Naruto always knew that he was different from other kids. Maybe it was because of his mother being a Senju, and how ridiculously powerful she was. Well, he was powerful as well. Maybe he's going to be stronger as well in the future, he didn't know. But that wasn't the only thing happening around the Elemental Nation. A man known as the War Beast had came in contact with one of the shards, and gained exponential strength. Not to mention a girl known as Sakura Haruno had came into contact with one of them, while her mother when she was a baby. And she was able to produce sound waves from her mouth. But when the girl came to the class, she was unusually quiet. Maybe something happened with that ability. But no one knew why this was happening and why. The shards were giving people abilities, those green crystal shards. Up until now, Naruto has not seen one of them, as he has not felt what it could do to him yet. But that wasn't the only problem. A strange iron capsule had landed with Naruto, and a strange black goo had sunk into the ground. Whatever it was lying dormant for now. So yeah guys, basically that's what I left off. You guys can switch across the playset of yourself, and also guys, remember to go ahead and check out What If Naruto got all Kurama powers before the Chunin exams, and enjoy that guys. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Let's begin guys, now. We begin this episode in the forest of death. There was a giant centipede. The thing was looking down at the child in front of it. Said child had pink hair and green eyes, as she was wearing a red dress with shorts underneath, as she looked up towards a massive centipede. Despite most children at her age, which was 12 years old, should be afraid of seeing that thing bearing down on them, she was perfectly calm. She watched as the thing came down. It was then that she opened her mouth and she screamed. Upon screaming, there was a massive, concentrated sound wave that hit the centipede and blasted straight through the trees, before it finally crashed a distance away. But upon her doing that, it caused the place to shake, as she turned to see a massive snake, twice as big as the centipede, coming towards her. She didn't expect to see that one, as she stepped back a bit ready to use her voice. But before she could do, someone appeared in front of her as he held up his hand. The snake came to a complete stop as it looked down toward the child. It then sauntered away back in the bushes. The person in turn, his hair was a mixture between black and also gold as well. There was a reason for that. As his eyes looked towards her with a smile, the girl smiled back. "See, I told you, Sakura," said Naruto. "There's no need to worry out here." "I guess you're right, Naruto," she said, with a happy smile on her face. Sakura Haruno, she was one of the few that got affected by the strange meteors. Up until now, no one really knew what the higher-ups knew why the meteor, when it came in contact with certain people's chakra, it kind of changed their chakra system a bit, as it gave some of them unique abilities, and some of them end up dying. But Sakura was one of the lucky few. It gave her a powerful voice, a literal screech that could destroy many things. After all, you saw what she just did to the animal a moment ago. But the reason why she was so quiet when she first entered the class was because of what happened when she was younger, when she first got her abilities, as she accidentally yelled at her mom. Her mother had been blasted right through. She was so worried as she rushed out. Lucky enough, her mother had been fine a few days later. She had proceeded to keep her voice quiet, as she didn't want to talk. She thought that she might end up hurting someone, so it kind of stunted her personality-wise. But the more she started to mix with her classmates, the more she started to become friends with them. And especially Naruto Senju. Naruto Senju did not care about how you look or what you can do. He was just so nice. He was one of the nicest person that she knew. Excluding her appearance, of course. But the thing was, she used her ability during the sparring. As over the years she has learned how to tone it down a bit, to make it less deadly. At first she thought that, well, people might yell at her or something for almost hurting Naruto, but it did not affect him. Instead of giving her a glare, he simply laughed it off, and he was happy, telling her that that was amazing. She was surprised. She had tried not to use her ability, but he found her ability rather amazing, and that made her happy. And from then they became friends. And he decided to bring her out here to show her that she could use her ability out here without much repercussion. As he was right, the place was large and vast. And she figured that Naruto came out here to perform with the animals, train and get better, because he was not allowed to fight in the academy. There was a reason for that though. Come on, said Naruto, there's some bigger one down here. What about the snake, she asked. Oh, that one's a good one, said Naruto. A good one? Asked Sakura. Yeah, said Naruto. Some of the animals here are, well, rather vicious. They're the ones that we're going after. Like that massive centipede a moment ago. He's bullying some of the other animals. So that should show him that he's not the biggest out here anymore, said Naruto, as both him and Sakura walked into the foliage. As Naruto was not allowed to spar in the academy anymore. Reason being he was just too strong. That was the only reason that they could justify. When he was getting older, when he became 9 years old, he had actually punched Aruka, but he was getting used to his newfound strength. And the man went to the hospital for 2 weeks. And the kids were not safe either because Naruto's strength was erratic. He had not able to completely get a good control over it, and thus he was too dangerous to spar with. So he couldn't spar with the other children, as he might end up hurting one of them. Other than that, his academics was quite great, as his mother had drilled certain knowledge into his head. His mother was the only one that he could actually spar with, and me too as well since he became 12 years old. He's been working on his strength, and he learned how to hold himself back a great deal so he wouldn't harm people his own age. And not to mention, his mother said that his chakra was vaster than almost everyone else, to the point where she can't even say that it was chakra alone. He didn't know what that meant. Why wouldn't he have chakra alone? Tsunade had not told Naruto that he was, well, not from here. She would tell him soon, but just not yet. The thing was, Naruto didn't have chakra, he had ki. But it was vastly similar, not to mention the way Naruto used it. He could perform a few things from the academy, such as the clone jutsu, where he could literally split his power using his ki. But he called it chakra because he didn't know that it was ki. But things like the transformation, he couldn't do that. But he could do several other things, not to mention, he could produce his ki in his hand. That was shocking to most of the adults. And when he threw it, Jiraiya almost lost his mind, saying that that form of control should be and was impossible for someone his age. But then he remembered something as Naruto saw the look on his face. He simply smiled and told Naruto that he was a special boy. As Naruto figured that they were not telling him something. Perhaps it was something dangerous that he should not know. Certain things doesn't bother him, so he didn't pry into certain things. But he was out here to help Sakura, as she never used her voice to her fullest because she was afraid of hurting people, but out here, she could use it to its fullest. Meanwhile, that was going on. In the land of sound, a certain snake Sanin had just taken control over the land of rice field and renamed it to the land of sound. At the moment though, Orochimaru was in front of a table. On said table was a man. The man's hands were strapped down, but every 5 seconds, strange black rods of sort came out of his body. They looked like black rods. They would remind someone of the bone of the Kaguya, like Himwaru, but they were not similar at all. These black rods could break down into smaller pieces, like a goo substance, and then reform in a second. This man was one of the unfortunate to get an ability from. Those crystal shards, unfortunate because Orochimaru found him, as he was from the land of rice field, but Orochimaru changed the name to the land of sound now. Orochimaru had found these crystal shards from the meteor shower that happened. He didn't know what it was yet, but Whenever it came into contact with certain people's chakra, it altered their chakra in a way, giving them special abilities. And Orochimaru was destined to find out exactly how does it do that, and how he could use it on himself, as he had a buttload of these crystal shards stored away. As he implanted it right in the man's chest and started to work, the man screamed as the black rods jetted out of him every few seconds. Time skip. As Naruto was happy. Today was finally the day that he would finally become a ninja of the village. There was a few reasons why he was not a ninja yet. First, he needed to learn how to control his strength, which he learned how to control by the age of 10 years old. But his mother, Snappy, after losing Dan and Nawaki, she wasn't in a rush to get Naruto out in the field anytime soon. Yes, she knew that he was hell-bent on being a ninja of the village, but still she wasn't in that of a rush. And not to mention, several things happened over the past few years. For one thing, there were several assassination attempts on Mito's life. Not from the villagers, from ninjas outside said village, as they estimate that it was the Stone Nation. Hearing about, well, Minato's legacy, there is no doubt that several out there wanted her dead, just to spit on Minato's grave for what he did to them in the past. But all of these were stopped before they could even get close. Jiraiya was a spy master after all, and he could get information from all over the continent, as he was able to weed them out rather quickly. No one would hurt his goddaughter. Absolutely no one. And he was going to make sure of that. Not to mention there was a problem with the Uchiha clan. The Uchihas has been wiped out. Now that was a shocker of the century, leaving only one member, being Sasuke. When Kushina found out that, she was shocked. Mikoto was her close friend, and she couldn't believe that this happened. And the person that did it was none other than her own son, which made no sense. Yes, Itachi was a person that stick by himself, and he was always, well, he doesn't really thought that much. But to kill his own mother and father, that was a shocker of the century. Kushina couldn't allow Sasuke to be by himself, as she knew that if something had happened to her, Mikoto would try her utmost best to adopt her daughter. So she took him in, not caring what anyone say. She didn't sign any forms or anything, she just brought him to her house, or the Senju compound where she was now staying, like one big happy family. For the first 2 years it was difficult. Sasuke was down a dark path, but things started to pick up and change. After all, he was around Naruto and Mito constantly, and it started to affect his attitude a bit. But still, they all knew that his hatred for Itachi would not just go away like that. His entire clan and his family was murdered. But today was the day. Even Sasuke was a bit excited to finally exit the academy, to finally do real ninja missions, as Mito was ecstatic. Giving her too much chakra capacity, she thought that she would never pass the academy because she had to learn the clone jutsu. But there was a fix for that. She might have done something bad. Her mother told her never to do it again, and so did the old man. She went into the scroll of sealing to see if there was any way of fixing that, and she found a jutsu called the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Upon finding said jutsu, she learned it. Well, it wasn't supposed to happen that way after all, it was a forbidden scroll. She apologized though, and there wasn't any real punishment, as she promised she would never do it again, which she would not. So with that, they were all sitting down eager to hear their name called, as members after members went, and came out back with their headband. When it was finally Naruto's turn, he made his way around there. Aruka smiled, seeing the child, one of his most prominent students. "Alright Naruto," he said. "Firstly, what I want you to do is to perform the clone jutsu." As Naruto brought his hand together, he didn't have to do this, but he just slammed his hand together. He flared his chakra. Well, that is what he thought it was. Upon doing so, his body then surged as he split in half. Two of him now standing there. Aruka smiled. "Impressive," he said, as he walked over. As he wondered if he was seeing things not correctly, he poked it. As the clone looked up at him, "It's real. Not just real. It has half of my power," said Naruto. "It's a shadow clone," Aruka said. "Yeah," said Naruto, as that was a small white lie. His mother had told him that his abilities were different from most, as she also taught him about the shadow clone basic, but, well, he couldn't really perform that. But he used the concept of that to create this. He called it the multi-form technique. He could split himself into two pieces. And anything that his other form learned, he will learn it as well. It was like it was him, but another half of him. It was ingenious. Impressive. Now, the transformation technique. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Haruka looked towards him. You've always had a trouble with that. Can you still not perform it, he asks. Sorry. I can't, said Naruto. As Mizuki glanced towards Haruka. Does this mean he will fail, Mizuki asks. Well, in all rights I can't really fail Naruto, for not knowing the transformation technique. Over the years I've watched you grow and train. Learn how to control that super strength of yours, that you knowingly gained from your mother. We all know that you're far above the academy already, so it would not be just to stop you from proceeding at your ninja career. But you'll work on it, correct? Haruka said. Yeah, of course, said Naruto. Well then, here you go. As Naruto came over and took his headband, he noticed Mizuki had a small frown, but it instantly vanished. As Naruto tied it around his neck. Thanks, Haruka-sensei. You too, Mizuki-sensei, he said. Yes. Good luck on your journey, Naruto. I expect to hear great things from you, said Haruka with a proud smile. Was it really wise to give him that, Mizuki asked. I mean, you failed one of the tests to perform the transformation jutsu. Haruka handed Mizuki a form. Look at Naruto's scores and his taijutsu back in the past and tell me if you will fail him. If you say yes, you would be holding back a prominent ninja for the future. I guess you're right, Mizuki said, but on the inside he was angry. Time skip. Mito came back with a smile on her face. Sasuke shrugged like it was not important even though he had his headband. Sakura was smirking as she also got her headband as well. The kids were beyond happy as they all passed. All of the friend group and several others passed as well. Once the school day was over, as they exit the academy, they came outside to see everyone there. Sasuke felt a bit sad. You could see it on his face. After all of the other kids' parents were here. That is until Naruto wrapped the arm on his shoulder. Hey, what are you waiting for? Come on, he said. Sasuke glanced up towards him, as Naruto's a bit taller than him. Don't worry, said Naruto. One day you will grow, shorty. Sasuke frowned as he clenched his fists, as he hated the blonde telling him that he was short. There they are, said Naruto as he walked over with a smile. Hey mom, as he showed her his headband. As Tsunade kneeled down and ruffled his hair. I had no doubt that you wouldn't pass, she said. As she looked at his hair, I still can't believe that you did this. But I'm coming around to like it. You are? Said Naruto with a smile. As Tsunade simply chuckled. Naruto had dyed his hair. He said he wanted to look more like his mother, but he didn't do it completely, so that is why the few black strands were still there. But it was blending out perfectly, and she had to say, she came around to it when she saw it, and he was just trying to make her happy by looking like her. He did it for her birthday, despite still giving her a gift. As she pinched his cheek. Hey, what was that for? Said Naruto. You're just a troublemaker sometimes, she said. As Mito walked over, Mom, look, she said. As Kushina hugged her. I'm so proud of you, Mito-chan. As she saw Sasuke. Sasuke, as he walked over. I passed as well, Sasuke said, looking towards the ground, until he felt himself enveloped in a hug. I'm so proud of you, she said, holding on to him tightly. Sasuke felt his arms tremble a bit, and the urge to hug her back. Despite not having his mother here, someone telling him that he was proud constantly, and always cheering him on made him happy, as Kushina gave him a kiss on his forehead, as he blushed in embarrassment. Alright, you all did so well, I think. We should all go for a big treat. What will it be? Ramen, said Mito. I can go for some ramen, said Sasuke. Come on, said Naruto. Big celebration for ramen as he started to walk off. Cause now there's a chuckle. Time skip. As the group was at the Ichiraku ramen stand after being congratulated by the others, 4 envoys arrived. Naruto Senju. Will you come with us, please? Tsunade turned her gaze. What is this about? I'm sorry, but he must report into the Hokage immediately. And I asked, what is this about, she said. The captain looked towards the dangerous woman, knowing that she didn't take anything lightly, especially when you regard her son. We have eyewitnesses stating that Naruto Senju have been seen stealing the Forbidden Scroll of Sealing. Wait, What? Said Mito. Time skip. As Naruto stood in the office. Of course it wasn't me, said Naruto. I was out all day eating ramen. I believe you, Naruto, Pearson said. But I don't know who have the gall to frame you. Well, whoever it is, when I find them, said Snatty as she clenched her face. Easy, Mom, said Naruto, as he knew how protective his mother was of him, and that person was not going to be safe. I have my envoys out scouting right now. But whoever did this, I'm afraid that they want to pin this on you. They might end up trying something else. Let them try. Let them even show up their face in front of me, said Snatty, as the fire in her eyes burned brightly. They won't even get a hair next to him, said Kushina. Yeah, they won't touch him, said Mito. Sasuke said nothing as he knew that Naruto could defend himself. Speaking of Naruto, he glanced towards him, as Naruto had his eyes closed. Something he learned rather early. But now that he got older, it was far more advanced. Mizuki, why are you doing this? Of all things, how could you betray this village? Found him, said Naruto. What? As Snatty turned, Naruto jumped through the window. Hey wait, she shouted, but Naruto was already gone. Sasuke watches the others jump through as well. What was that about? He must have used that impeccable hearing of his, said Sartobi, always ready to jump into action without thinking first. He shook his head. The kid was something alright. Time skip. As Aruka was on the ground, he had saw Mizuki fleeing with the scroll and Yusai chased after him. And he was all alone. He got stabbed. The giant Fuma shirking that he ripped out of his leg. I can't believe you did this. How can you betray your own village like this? Don't start on that bullshit, because whatever you say is not going to change my mind. I can't have you go and tell anyone until I'm far away from this village. So I think your life is now forfeit. As Aruka tried to back away, Mizuki grabbed his kunai. He was about to move forward until Naruto appeared. Aruka was surprised by the speed that Naruto used. Naruto was far more advanced than a lot of genins. But Aruka worried for Naruto's safety, unknowing how truly powerful Naruto was. Naruto, get out of here! Run! Go and inform someone else! Mizuki frowned. Damn it, he thought to himself. With this brat here. You're the one that framed me, said Naruto. Huh, seems like you know. My mom isn't going to like that, said Naruto. As Mizuki frowned, knowing that Snadif Senju would literally beat the crap out of him if she found him. He gripped the scroll as he decided to flee. Damn it, Aruka said. Naruto propped Aruka up on a tree. Don't worry, I won't let him get away. No, Naruto, he would kill you. As Naruto merely smiled, before he vanished in front of Aruka's eyes. Aruka was confused. Did he just teleport? Meanwhile, Mizuki hopped from tree to tree. Found you, a voice said in his ear. Mizuki turned as he swung his kunai. As Naruto turned and evaded the strike. Before he slapped Mizuki across the face. Mizuki's body was thrown as he smashed through several trees before coming to a stop. The man coughed up blood, a confused look on his face. As Naruto walked towards him. Sorry, but I'm a lot stronger than I let on, said Naruto. You have no chance of escaping, you little brat. If you think that you will stop me then, screw Senju Snatty and this village. I'll just kill you. As Naruto stood there, what did you say? Mizuki rushed forward as he pulled the kunai back and thrust it forward. Bang! Mizuki's eyes went wide with shock. The kunai shattered when it hit Naruto's chest. As Naruto looked down, what do you say about my mother? He asked. Mizuki stepped back in fright. How? Naruto flashed away and appeared behind him as Naruto's arms wrapped around the man. As I said, you're not going anywhere. And I'm gonna hurt you a bit for what you said about my mother. As he started to squeeze, Mizuki cried out, screaming in utter pain as Naruto squeezed him tight, before Mizuki went limp in his arm. As Naruto then started carrying him back, it was at that moment Snatty and the others landed beside Aruka. Where is he? Asked Snatty. He went off. I'm right here, said Naruto. Snatty breathed a sigh of relief. Here he is, said Naruto as he threw down Mizuki along with his scroll. Kushina released two chains, one picked up the scroll and one picked up Mizuki. Aruka was confused. Why were they acting like this was normal? Naruto just defeated them Chunin with ease, with not even a scratch on him. Time skip. I had no doubt that you were not the one that stole the scroll, Naruto-kun. Hiruzen said that smile. And this village owes you a great service for stopping the criminal. Oh, don't worry about it, said Naruto. After all, as a shinobi, it's my duty to protect Konoha, right? As Hiruzen nodded, as he loved that the will of fire had rubbed off on this child who was not like any other child in the entire village, who was getting stronger by the day goes on. The next day, as Naruto was in the class, ready to hear what team that he would be on. As he was excited, a lot of his friends were here, and he was hoping to be on a team with one of them. I hope we get placed in the same team together, Naruto-kun. As Naruto turned towards Ino, who sat beside him. That would be great, said Naruto. With your mind manipulating ability, we will make an awesome team. You think so? She said, with a small blush on her face. Of course, said Naruto. And who wouldn't like a beautiful girl on your team as well? Her blush intensified. What about me? Said Mito. Don't you want me on your team? Of course, said Naruto. I would glad to have any one of you on my team. Shikamaru sighed as he leaned on the decks. Naruto was just so different from everyone else. Maybe it was because he was strangely good at everything. He was nice, kind, he couldn't explain it. Not to mention he said things without any embarrassment. As he would frankly tell someone that they were beautiful without even hesitating. Maybe it was just his generous attitude and all that. But he was a hell of a guy as well. He went out of his way to also make people happy as well. For Shikamaru, he was too nice. Well, he did show him that spot where he could lie and watch the clouds, and it was just perfect. Aruka stepped in the room. Alright, he said. Settle down. I'm sure all of you are gated to find out which team that you're going to be placed on. So let's not waste any more time, shall we? As Aruka started to list out the names from Team 1, when you arrive to Team 7, Team 7 will be Sakura Haruno, Mito Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha. Mito frowned, as she wanted Naruto in the same team as her. So did Sakura as well. But at least she was in a team with a cute guy. She glanced towards him. Sasuke saw her looking at him. He turned his head away. He didn't really know her that much, but she seemed to be a quiet, nice girl. And also she was friends with Naruto. Your Jonin sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. Mito perked up. Kakashi will be my sensei, she thought to herself. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburami, and Kiba Inazaka. Your Jonin sensei will be Kurina Iwai. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka. Ino held her breath. Shikamaru Nara, she still had a spot. Choji Akimichi. Ino frowned in anger at that. She looked down angry that she wasn't at least on team with Naruto or Sasuke. Many of the girls were disappointed. A lot of them having the hugest crush on Naruto. And a lot of them having the hugest crush on Sasuke as well. Hinata had eyes for Naruto, as he was like the perfect inspiration for her. The rest of the team got list off as Naruto was confused. Haruka-sensei, what about me? Oh, Naruto-kun, your case is quite special. She should be here in a few minutes. Naruto was confused what was going on. Most of the kids in the class got paired with their sensei except for, well, all of Naruto's friends. All of the clan children and Sakura, they were still here. As they were left in the room, Team 7, 8, or 9, none of their senseis came, as Naruto was confused. Aruka then came in back. Alright, all of you, please make your way towards Training Ground 7. Except for you, Naruto. Someone is waiting for you outside. As Naruto nodded, see you guys later, he said, as he made his way out. Upon arriving outside, he saw there was a beautiful woman out there waiting on him. She had purple hair and dark eyes, as she was leaning against the wall, as he was just staring at her. She stepped forward. So you're Naruto Senju, she said. Yeah, said Naruto. What's wrong, she asked. Sorry, I can't help it, you're just so beautiful, he said. Why, thank you, she said. But you should know, I will be your Jonin instructor. Really? Wait, me alone, he asked. Yes. But before that, there's something that you have to do. What is that? Fight your classmates. As she started to walk off. Huh? Said Naruto confused. Come with me, she said, as he followed behind her. Wait, Who am I gonna fight? All of them, she said. As Naruto's eyes went wide at that. Time skip. All of them were gathered in Team 7 when their Jonin sensei arrived. Kakashi was early for once. So, what is going on? Shikamaru said. You all will be taking part in a tournament of sorts against one of your classmates. Wait, don't tell me it's Naruto, said Sasuke. Huh, smart guess, said Kakashi. What made you believe that it was him? Asked Kurenai. Well, there was a reason why they didn't allow him to fight anyone in the academy. It's basically because he's too strong. Yeah, my big brother is awesome, said Mito. Really awesome. Why do we all have to fight him, she asks. Think of this as a genuine test. To rank you all up to see how far you are at the moment. So when time comes in the future to test you once again, we can see how much you all develop, said Kurenai. But why do we all have to fight him alone? Hinata asked, confused. Well, there are several reasons behind that. Just wait until he gets here. Yes, you all have 15 minutes to come up with a strategy. As Shikamaru sighed, this would be troublesome even if it was just all of them. Yosh, said a voice. As Guy landed in the field, followed by 3 others. They will be assisting you as well. As Lee was on the ball of his heel, feared that he was gonna fight a powerful academy student that was so strong that it would need all of them to take him down, to literally test him. Neji found this absurd. As he noticed Hinata, she looked away. Tenten was just curious as she wondered who was this guy, Naruto Senju. For one thing though, he was the son of the famous Senju Tsunade, her hero. But still, she's never seen him before. Guy walked over to the other Jonins as he started to speak. As Shikamaru speak, well, I guess we should make some kind of strategy. There is no need for a strategy, said Neji. This is just a waste of my time. His tone was arrogant, as it speak volumes. You don't know how strong Naruto is, do you? Said Shikamaru. It does not matter. Come on, Neji, said Lee. Lighten up. We get to test our flames of youth against someone rather powerful. It's not gonna be that easy. Well, the harder the better, said Lee with a smile on his face. I am looking forward towards the challenge. Time skip. 15 minutes later. So my mom said that this was okay, said Naruto. Yes, said Yujiro. So why did you all think of this? Well, we were aware of you not getting to train in the academy with your fellow students in the testing. And from what we've learned from your own mother, the things that you can do at the age that you are right now. She wagered against all of us, even the Hokage, that you could take on the entire academy class by yourself. But that would just be too much. So the Hokage limited it down to the best graduating students and the students from last year, also the rookie of the last year. It is said that he is a prodigy amongst the Hyugas. But despite that, your mother was not worried. Neither was the Hokage. I am not that well informed of your true strength, but this will be a chance for me to see it at hand. Is there something else I should know, she asks. Well, not really, said Naruto. But they're probably right. I mean, I am ridiculously strong, but not just strong, I also have other abilities. I know of that, but I am not so certain that you will be able to defeat them all, especially ninjas that have been training for the past year. Well then, you just watch and see, said Naruto. I'll make you proud. As she narrowed her gaze, I mean, I am going to be your student, right? And my job is to also make my sensei proud. Well, I guess you're right, she said, as they finally arrived towards the field, as Naruto saw everyone there. This was actually real, he thought to himself. For a moment he thought that she was actually joking and doing some tests with him. As he saw Team 9, he didn't really know them, but he knew Might Guy though. He was said to be the strongest taijutsu user in the village, but Naruto never really saw him fight before. As Naruto felt the urge to actually fight him, he didn't know what it was, but ever since he was younger, fighting a stronger opponent always get his blood pumping. Especially when he fought his mother. As she was one of the strongest person that he knew. He never fought the Hokage before, so his mother was the strongest person that he knew. Neji walked over to the side. What's his problem? He's from the Hyuga clan. They're known for their stuck-up attitudes. Yujiro, what took you so long? The voice of Kurenai said. I was just debriefing him. I still think this is a bit too much. Not only Hokage, but Tsunade Senju also believed that this is true. But he is her son, said Kunai. Wouldn't she be a bit too biased? Well then I guess we'll just have to see. Alright everyone, you got your 15 minutes and now he's here. So in the count of 3, you are all supposed to try and take down Naruto. Team 9, nothing too lethal, said Guy. Come on, said Naruto, why would you tell them that? No, they're gonna be holding back. As Guy had a big smile. I am gratefully impressed by your youth, Naruto-kun, but even for you this would be a bit difficult. Yeah, there's no killing involved, said Naruto, but at least show me what you can do. I mean, this won't last too long. And what do you mean by that, said Tenten. As Naruto smiled. Oh, I meant no offense, he said. Are you guys ready, he asked. Alright, said Kakashi. Let us begin in 3, 2, 1. Shikamaru looked towards the people that he was able to get to agree with him. As he nodded. The first one was Tenten as she pulled out a kunai with the explosive tag and threw it. Upon doing that, it exploded a few feet away from Naruto, blocking his vision. As Naruto was confused what was that for. The shadow shot forward and grabbed his shadow. As Naruto looked down. Shadow position technique. Success to Shikamaru. Now it's my turn, said Lee as he rushed forward. As Naruto smiled, he took in a huge breath. Before he exhaled, all of them were blown away. Neji had to leap, so did Sasuke. Moving to the side as the rest were blown past them. Neji was confused. Was that a wind attack, he thought to himself? He couldn't just have exhaled alone, but there was no hand signs. Yujiro was shocked. That was not possible. The others watched in fascination as Naruto vanished. He appeared in front of Neji, as he was the first one. You're my first target. Neji thrust his palm out, but Naruto ducked underneath it and punched him in the stomach. Neji collapsed unconscious. As Naruto then moved, Lee fell next. As Naruto moved and appeared behind Shikamaru, too slow, he chopped him on the shoulder as Shikamaru fell unconscious. He then vanished as he appeared behind Tenten and simply poked her on the head. His pointer finger as he poked her, and she passed out. His mother had taught him a lot about the human body, as he knew the right places to hit someone, and with his insane, ridiculous strength, he was able to add it into his finger to simply deliver a one-hit knockout move on the children. Hinata, Sakura, and the girls were next. Ino, he simply tapped them on the forehead. Sasuke tried to fire off a fireball, but Naruto blew wing. Despite the wing ability to enhance the fire, Naruto wing actually overtook it and blew away the fireball like it was nothing. As he appeared behind Sasuke and slammed him down to the ground, knocking him unconscious. Once the dust finally cleared away, in the span of a few seconds, all the Genies were on the ground. Guy, Asuma, and Kakashi all stood there, shocked as hell. Yujiro was speechless. Kunai couldn't believe what she was seeing. Now they understood why. The Hokage was not worried about all of the Genins taking on a single student. Everyone was just so shocked. Time skip. Lee was the first one to wake up. What happened? He said, looking around. Ah, my young protege, it seems. Like Naruto-kun was a lot more youthful than we thought. As Lee looked around and seen all of the other kids unconscious, the Jonin senses all looking down at them, as he couldn't believe it. Were they all knocked out by Naruto? Time skip. Hokage-sama, I think it is not wise for me to be Naruto-sensei, said Yujiro. And why is that? Hiruzen asked. Sir, from what I've estimated of his skills, he is far beyond a normal Genin level. Despite all of the kids being Genin, there is also the former Rookie of the Year that is said to be a prodigy regarding the Hyugas. Not to mention Mike Guy, younger student that is trained directly by him. But he effortlessly knocked them all out. Regarding the girls, he simply tapped them on the forehead. Well, Tsunade had taught him a lot about the human body. Sir, that's not the point, she said. What can I teach him, she asks. Well, Yujiro, you're one of my most trusted subordinates. And there's a lot that you can teach Naruto regarding his personality and not to mention the way of a ninja. You've been through it all. The ranks, going up to Jonin and then going over to the Anbu ranks. So that means you can teach him all aspects and not to mention If you haven't noticed, he's a bit too jumpy regarding certain things. And I don't want his strength to get to his head, to make him believe that he's untouchable. So yes, there is in fact several things that you can teach him. That is if you're up to the job. She was intrigued though. But as she had thought about it earlier, when she saw him move, she thought that maybe she was not fit to be his teacher, but now, if you believe so, I will give it another try, she said. Sir, there's also something else. What is that? The possibility of him ever becoming a mixed nin. As here's in Naruto's case, I'm not saying that he would, but sir, with the strength that he's showing right now, for a mere genin, yes, I understand that. But I doubt something like that would ever happen. And I need you to just trust me on this one. If you say so, Hokage-sama. So with that, she made her way. Time skip. A few weeks passed since that little training incident. Kakashi had been sold because Team 7, well, Sasuke had stepped aside, but Shikamaru had gave them, well, orders what to do to take down Naruto. And Sasuke was willing to listen, unlike Neche. They were willing to work as a unit despite all of them having different strengths. Kakashi thought that he could do something with that, so he took Team 7 on, same for the rest of the other Jonins. The students on the other hand were quite upset. They were all knocked out with just one hit, as they wanted to take their training seriously. Sasuke had a goal to push forward to, as he wanted to be stronger. All of them did. Sakura wanted as well. She was eager to get stronger up Naruto's level, but that might be just downright impossible. As Lee and Guy had returned back to their vigorous, maybe even more intense training session, Neji was at a loss how that could have happened to him. As he started to push himself even more, Tenten started to focus differently on the other arts, not just, well, weapon alone. Seeing that her weapons, well, they couldn't match up to someone vastly stronger. Same for Shikamaru. He might be smarter than most, but still, what did that smart did for him out there? As Naruto was simply able to blow them all away. But not everyone was like Naruto after all. Eugeo found out about Naruto's predicament, that his chakra was not like most. She wanted to see how much he could, well, use it. Naruto could turn his chakra hot, like flaming heat, and it came out red, like red flames. He could also turn it cold, to the point where it came like it was becoming ice. Something that should be impossible at his age, but yet, this child was nothing from normal. She had asked Hokage if he was infected by the green rocks, but the Hokage had told her no, as he did not tell her the information regarding Naruto. Just yet. Well, not even Naruto know that. Only a select few know. She spent 2 weeks training Naruto regarding several things. The aspect of being a shinobi, the aspect of being silent and focused and not just running head front into battle. And also the aspect of evading strikes, which he was able to do quite smoothly. So she felt like they were ready for their first mission. She was not taking any D ranks. That would be a disrespect to his skills, and hers as well, as she felt like he was ready for something much tougher. So they went for a C rank. Bandits. It turns out that a settlement of bandits were trying to move into the Fire Country, and it was their job to stop them. As Naruto said goodbye to his mother, Kushina and the others, Eugeo saw the look on his face though. "Are you okay?" she said. "Well, I was just thinking about what she asked." "Killing," he said. "Killing? And what were you thinking about?" "Well, I never killed anyone before. Am I expected to kill someone here?" "No," she said. "Do you know that most ninjas, especially up from the level of Genin to Chunin, have gone without killing a single person?" "Wait, really?" "Yes. And with your skills, I believe that you can do something like that. You are one of the fastest Genins I've ever seen before. And not to mention your strength. It's truly impressive. These bandits don't really possess chakra. Even if they do, they don't possess that much. So it would be quite easy to knock them out. But Naruto-kun," she said, "killing is a part of being a shinobi. I'm sure that you were taught that when you signed up for the program." "Yeah, I know," said Naruto. "My mom told me that as well, but still. It's just, I understand," she said. "It's hard to get used to know that you have to take a life. But it is something that you have to do maybe at one point. But when it does happen, if it does, I will be here to help you coach through it." As Naruto was staring at her, What's wrong? She said. You're just so amazing. Do you have a boyfriend? As she looked at him, that is quite inappropriate, Naruto-kun, she said. Oh, sorry, said Naruto, I'm not asking for myself, I mean, I am still quite young. But if you were still single by the time I got older, I would marry you, he said. Quite the flattering offer, she said. But I'm your sensei, I'm here to guide you and help you. Not here to talk about relationship. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh, it's alright, she said. And yes, I'm indeed seeing someone right now. Huh, that guy is the most luckiest guy in the world, he said. To be with someone like you. That caused her to smile as he continued to move. Nighttime came. From the reports, the bandit settlement was not that big, but they were starting to terrorize a few of the citizens in the Fire Country, and it was their job to stop them. Both her and Naruto had snuck up on the bandit camp. Something seemed off. The thing was, usually they kept to themselves in a quiet corner, but this bandit camp was much larger than she expected. The information was not completely correct, she thought to herself. Naruto-kun, wait here, she said. As she walked up, leaned up against the slope, she looked over. As she pulled a pair of binoculars, looking forward, she could see several of them walking around. As Naruto closed his eyes, please, help me, he heard the voice of a girl. They have someone, said Naruto. What? How do you? We have to go, said Naruto. Naruto, wait, she said. But he already jumped off. She frowned as she moved in as well. To her surprise, when she arrived, she saw there was a girl down into the center as the foliage was blocking her. The girl was completely naked in the center, with several men around her leering at her and making comments and laughing as they threw things at her out of the fire that burned her. The sick, sadistic bastard, she thought to herself as she reached for her blade, almost forgetting about boom. All of the men were blown back as a sizable dust storm kicked up. The girl fell, but she was caught. It's alright. As Naruto took off his overcoat and placed over her. Who are you? You don't have to worry about that right now. But I'm gonna protect you, said Naruto. He glanced around as he noticed the cages. As he clenched his fists, there were cages with girls inside, like they were some animals. The bandits got to their feet. Look what we have here. A foolish brat that decided to make a wrong move. Naruto picked up the girl and jumped off, as he brought her over to the side where no one was. Stay here, he said. I'll be right back. As he walked towards the cages. Hey buddy, what do you think you're? As Naruto turned and backhanded the man. The man crashed into the lock, breaking it with his skull. As Naruto walked over and gripped the bars before he started to clench it. Stay back, he said. The girl stepped back as Naruto tore it off, shocking them by his strength. The bandits started to get worried as he wasn't even looking at them. You're all safe now, he said, not even paying attention to the guys behind him. One of them decided to pull their blades. Big mistake as he rushed over. He brought his blade down over Naruto's head. Crack! The thing exploded into tiny pieces. The man stepped back with a shocked look on his face, as bodies were falling as Eugeo beat them off with their kunais. The man couldn't believe what just happened. No, you're the one who made a mistake, said Naruto, as he reached forward and finger flicked the man. The bandit was thrown as he crashed through several trees. It was then that someone belched rather loudly. As Naruto focused in the tent, what he saw caused his blood to boil. There was a girl on the ground. Her eyes seemed empty. A man stepped out fixing his pants. As Naruto grit his teeth in rage, the man was large, massive, tall, dark hair and dark beady eyes. He had a tattoo on his shoulder. It was like a bear, mixed with some kind of other beast. It had horns. The kanji for war beast was scribed across his chest. Now who is being so annoying out here? Yujiro arrived behind the man as she brought her sword down to end his life in a swift decapitation, but her sword shattered on the man. She stepped back in shock. It was then that she took in his appearance. She pulled out several explosive notes and threw them and jumped back. Naruto, we need to get out of here. What's wrong, said Naruto. I never expected this. This guy, he's no pushover bandit. His name has been popping up every now and then. That tattoo. The war beast, she said. War beast? Who's that? Said Naruto. I am. As the man stepped out of the smoke. You think your toys could work against me, girl, he said. Run. Take the girls and go. I'll slow him down. But just go, she yelled. Alright, fine, but I'll be right back, he said as he moved forward. As Yujiro started to attack the man, but everything she threw. Nothing was working on him, and her sword was broken. She flashed through hand sign. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The man clapped his hands together, releasing a burst of wind that stopped her fireball and caused it to implode. I must say, I wasn't looking forward to face Konoha Ninja so soon. I had to get my party rallied. But you'll be a fine entertainment, wouldn't you say, boys? Laughter could be heard as she saw the remainder of the men all start to get up. Yeah, boss, why don't you teach her a lesson? Yujiro had her eyes on the man. It was then that she noticed his legs bulge. He appeared in front of her. Her eyes went wide. Bam! She crossed her arms, the fist connected, she was thrown. She smashed right into one of the camps. Her head felt dizzy, her arms were stinging. What was that, she thought to herself? At the last second she saw his arms got enlarged and his legs returned back normal. Was he able to send his muscle strength to section of his body to enhance it, she thought. Her arms felt numb as she dropped into her side. The ground cracked under his feet as he moved. She ducked under the blow. As the ear above her whipped, he brought his hand down and destroyed the earth. He then lifted, threw in a barrage of debris towards her. As they hit her back, she was sent sailing. He appeared above her and dropped his knee in her stomach. She cried out in pain. This was a mistake. She never expected to come across someone like this. As she got back to her feet, once he moved back, as she held onto her stomach, "Get away from her!" Yujiro's eyes went wide as she turned, as Naruto stood there. His eyes were looking at the war beast. Huh, a little brat. Hey boys, I'm sure you can handle this one now. This little punk think that he has the right to speak to me as he wish. As the war beast appeared in front of Naruto, despite his superior speed, well, what it seems right now, Naruto did not move. Huh, brat, not surprised. Don't you hurt my sensei, said Naruto. As the war beast looked down, and what are you gonna do about it? He reached out and gripped Naruto's face. As he slammed Naruto into the ground, his arm got intensified large as he was able to hold directly onto Naruto's head, like it was some sort of cherry to pop. He then proceeded to blast Naruto's body into the ground. Naruto Yujiro called out, "Let go of me!" Naruto screamed. The man's hand became red. Suddenly a massive beam erupted from Naruto's eyes, shooting him all the way up in the air. The war beast crashed a distance off. The man got up with a shocked look on his face, unbelieving what just happened. As he looked toward his arm, that was burned rather badly. But instead of getting more angry, he laughed. This kid, what is he? He thought to himself, as he felt the burn. Whenever he enhanced his body like that, he hasn't been hurt by any other shinobi. Justified he hadn't fight any other dangerous shinobi yet. And when people did not know about his ability, he was able to caught them off guard. He was able to send his body mass and his strength down towards any one of his limbs, and also regulate it throughout his body. That strange gem. He was nothing but a normal bandit. Well, he wasn't a normal bandit. He had the training of a ninja before. Until he did some things that got him exiled. Well, he was gonna be killed, but he just left from his village, running away. Not a fancy village, just a small one, where he started to recruit men under his will, because he was much more powerful than them, having been trained. That is when he came across that strange green rock. After touching it, after making contact, he felt something strange. And then this happened to him, and he got so much more powerful. But there was a big drawback to this. Once he put all of his strength into his legs or hands, the rest of his body became vulnerable. Vulnerable like how it normally was. Stronger than most, but still vulnerable. The moment he had stepped out of his tent, he had put all of his muscle mass up into his shoulders. That is why Yu-Gi-Oh! Blade shattered. If it wasn't for that, she would have taken his head clean off. Even with its muscle mass, he still felt the pressure. It seems like she was a high-class ninja of Konoha. Someone in the past that he would have feared. But now he was stronger. As he rushed through the trees. "I'm coming for you, you brat," he said. As he ran straight forward. He finally broke away as he saw Naruto, his eyes glowing ominously. As Naruto grit his teeth, his fingers twitched, the ground underneath him broke. The full moon in the sky was shining brightly. "You think you can hurt my sensei and get away with it? I'll make you pay," said Naruto. The war beast smiled. "Let's see you try, brat," he said. The ground under their feet exploded as both of them rocket forward. But guys, if you end subscribe right here. If you want the next part, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But for now, I'm out here. See you guys soon. Peace.